Today, we're going to uncover the qualities that make a woman irresistible to men. It's a topic often shrouded in mystery, with many wondering what exactly men find attractive. But what if everything you've been told is a lie? A pleasant fiction sold to you by magazines and self-help gurus, promising that the right dress, the right smile, the right demureness is the key. This is a deeper, more dangerous inquiry. We are not hunting for tips, but for a truth that shakes the very foundation of your being. Imagine a force within you, so potent and primal, that when unleashed, it doesn't just attract a man, it captivates his entire soul. This is not about beauty, nor obedience. It is about a power that most women are terrified to claim. A power that society has systematically trained you to suppress. For centuries, you have been sculpted into a pleasing form, your edges sanded down, your fire banked to a safe, warm glow. But what if the very thing you've been taught to hide is the very thing that makes you unforgettable? We begin with a paradox from the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche. The true man wants two things, danger and play. He does not seek a mere reflection of his own desires, nor a servant to his whims. He seeks a worthy opponent in the great game of life. He seeks a force of nature. So I ask you, have you been presenting yourself as a sanctuary or as a storm? Have you traded your volcanic core for a neatly trimmed garden? The answer to what makes a woman irresistible does not lie in becoming more appealing. It lies in becoming more dangerous. And the journey to that fearsome transformation begins by understanding the great, silent prison you inhabit without even knowing it. This prison is not made of stone, but of ideas. For generations, a silent, insidious force has been at work, conditioning woman to seek her value not from within, but from the approving gaze of the outside world. You are taught to be pleasant, agreeable, and easy to be around. To be a mirror, reflecting back a man's idealized self, rather than a window into a soul as vast and complex as his own. This is the great domestication, and its psychological roots are terrifyingly deep. The German philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer, in his piercing essay On Women, cynically observed this cultivated dependency, arguing it creates a creature whose entire existence is relational. But he missed the profound tragedy of it. This is not your nature. It is your cage. You have been sculpted by society fearful of your authentic power. Carl Jung would call this the suppression of your true anima, not the passive, gentle archetype it's often reduced to, but the raw, chaotic, and creative life force that is the fundamental counterpart to the masculine spirit. You are caught in a system that rewards you for being manageable, while punishing you for being monumental. Every time you bite your tongue to keep the peace, every time you soften your opinion to avoid being called difficult, you are building your own confinement. This is the hidden problem. You have been convinced that your strength is a flaw and that your independence is a threat. You have been alienated from your own formidable will, the very thing that Nietzsche celebrated as the will to power, the innate drive to assert your life force upon the world. But what is the true cost of living in this gilded cage? The consequence is a silent erosion of your spirit, a ghostly existence whose damage is so subtle, you may have mistaken it for comfort. The consequence is a ghost life, a haunting quietude where your greatest triumphs are merely the absence of conflict. This self-betrayal is a silent tax on your soul, paid daily in small installments of suppressed opinions, unexpressed desires, and ambitions politely shelved. You become a beautiful echo, not a voice, and the world, sensing this void, responds in kind. The man who initially finds your pleasantness appealing will eventually grow restless, not because he is fickle, but because he unconsciously craves the tension and vitality of a true counterpart, a force he cannot entirely predict or control. Neurologically, you are conditioning your own brain for safety, not for significance. The amygdala, your threat detection center, learns to flag authenticity as dangerous, triggering anxiety when you consider speaking a raw truth or pursuing a selfish ambition. You are culturally conditioned to seek the dopamine hit of external validation, a like, a compliment, a man's approving nod, rather than the deep, resonant satisfaction of self-actualization that Viktor Frankl identified as the core of human drive. This is the unseen trap. You have been engineered to fear the very independence that would make you magnetically compelling. Your relationships become transactions of validation, not unions of souls. You offer comfort and compliance in exchange for security, a bargain that starves the spirit. You create not a passionate alliance, but a peaceful merger. This is the quiet catastrophe that unfolds in 1,000 well-appointed living rooms. A man who feels unchallenged and a woman who feels unknown. But if this is the prison, what is the key? It is not a simple adjustment. It requires a rebellion, a deliberate and radical shattering of the mirror you were taught to be. The rebellion begins not with a shout, but with a silent, seismic shift within. It demands you commit the ultimate act of disobedience, to stop being likable and start being alive. This is the counterintuitive core. The very traits you've been taught to conceal are your greatest weapons. Your sharp edges, your tumultuous emotions, your unapologetic ambitions, your refusal to be placated. These are not flaws. They are the evidence of a soul that has not been fully domesticated. This is what Nietzsche meant by the will to power, the courageous act of imposing your unique form upon the chaos of existence, of becoming a creator of your own values. To become irresistible, you must cease to be a mere reflection and become a force of nature. This means embracing what society calls dangerous. Be disagreeable when your truth demands it. Be unpredictable in your passions. Have a mission that is yours alone, a purpose that does not orbit a man, but races alongside him, or even blazes its own trail. This is not about becoming cold or combative. It is about becoming so complete in yourself that your presence is a choice, not a need. Think of historical figures like Cleopatra or Joan of Arc. They were not beloved for their compliance. They were legendary for their formidable, ungovernable will. They were storms in human form. This is your path, to reclaim your inner sovereignty, to build a citadel of self-worth so impregnable that you engage with the world from a place of abundance, not neediness. But this rebellion leads to a final, terrifying, and liberating question. If you are no longer a mirror, what are you? The ultimate truth is not about becoming attractive to men, but about becoming something else entirely. The ultimate truth is this: irresistibility was never the goal. It was always a distraction. The final, most profound realization is that you are not meant to be a sought-after prize, but a sovereign ruler in your own existence. The entire pursuit of being irresistible to men is a gilded cage, a quest that places a man's desire as the central sun around which your identity must orbit. To truly break free, you must dethrone this paradigm entirely. Your power does not lie in your ability to attract, but in your audacity to exist fully and ferociously for yourself. This is the paradigm shift that redefines everything. When you stop trying to be the object of a man's gaze and instead become the subject of your own epic life, you emit a frequency that is cataclysmically magnetic. This is the essence of what Nietzsche called the Übermensch, the overman, who creates their own values beyond good and evil, beyond societal approval. You are no longer playing the game. You have changed the rules. A man does not complete you. He encounters you. And in that encounter, he finds not a reflection of his own needs, but the thrilling, terrifying, and magnificent presence of another sovereign soul. So let them be haunted by you, not by your beauty, but by your vastness. Not by your need for them, but by your glorious lack of it. The final truth is not about making yourself irresistible to men. It is about becoming so utterly, dangerously, and authentically yourself that the only men who can even dare to approach are the ones brave enough to look into the sun. If you've got any thoughts on what makes a woman irresistible to men, I'd love to hear them in the comments below. And if you're interested in learning more about relationship dynamics, be sure to check out my other video on the topic.